Hey everyone, this is Selena. I'm bringing you back into my kitchen today to show you some basic ingredients that I keep around and that I highly recommend you keep around too if you're doing a low carb or a keto diet. So let's get right to it. So I've got my oils over here. I like to stick with the plant-based oils, so I have organic coconut oil, which I use instead of butter. You can still use butter and ghee if that's what you're looking for, if you're not doing vegan keto, but I like to keep it plant-based as much as possible, especially since I have lactose intolerance and I can't eat eggs. So you'll notice that I don't have any eggs on this table and everything here is plant-based. So organic coconut oil, and you can also use MCT oil, particularly if you're using it in your coffee. But this is all I've got for right now. I also have, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. Now I like to keep it cold pressed. I heard that it's really good for you. I'll go into the schematics of olive oil in a different video. But for now, just know that I like to use olive oil and coconut oil in my cooking. Now I've got here pecans, and I like to add in nuts whenever I can for a little protein boost, a little extra fat and fiber, plus I like the texture of it. So I've got pecans here. I also use almonds, but not as frequently because they have a higher protein count and higher sugar. So like, for instance, pecans here have 1 gram of sugar, no added sugar of course, 3 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber with a total of 4 carbohydrates. So you're only netting 1 carb per serving size, which is 1/4 cup. So pretty good snack, and is also great for your baking. Now right next to it here I have my Ghirardelli 100% dark chocolate. It is basically cocoa powder compressed. Now I've tried a regular baker's chocolate as well as this. This Ghirardelli is by far my favorite, and the price point is about the same from where I purchase it at. Now there is a little bit more carbs in this than in the other alternative baker's chocolate, like your generics, but it's still unsweetened chocolate, and it is by far superior. So if you like it for your baking, it melts better, it's easier to deal with because it's thin. There's one section is 15 grams, so about 2 bars of the baker's chocolate. There's 8 servings per container, 4 ounces. I use about half a package of this per brownie batch, or if I'm using it for like my fat bombs. So I highly recommend using Ghirardelli if you can afford it. So that's 100% cocoa. And to go into the nutrition facts a little bit more, so 1 section is a serving is what they say. That's half an ounce approximately. 80 calories, 8 grams of fat, 5 grams of saturated fat. There are 5 grams of carbs and 2 grams of fiber. So 3 net per square. So keep that in mind if you're counting it up to 20 net carbs. It will add up, but it is excellent in your baking and it goes really far. I mix this along with my coconut oil, melt it down, and then I add either a little bit of Swerve or stevia. Now Swerve, not too many people have heard of. It's just starting to become really popular mainstream. It has prebiotic corn solubles, so that's where the fiber comes from, which it's mainly erythritol. Hope I'm saying that right. So a little different than stevia. It is plant-based. It's not a chemical like aspartame would be. So I highly recommend trying Swerve. It doesn't leave a bitter aftertaste, which I really like. They have confectioners, which is this, and they also have granulated, which this is granulated, so I figured I'd use the rest of this up before making the full conversion to Swerve. Now Swerve is a little pricey, so what was this, 12 ounces of Swerve was about $9. You could probably get it cheaper online, but just buy it from the store. And so be prepared to spend a lot, but it is totally worth it. And over here I have stevia. Now, I don't discriminate store to store, brand to brand. I look for the best deals. And generally, I like to stick with organic, but this was like $5 for the entire bag. So I got this. It's stevia, made of stevia extract. And if you can find just pure stevia, then do it. I highly recommend staying away from the maltodextrin. which this does have, unfortunately. But I still use it in my baking, and for the most part it turns out pretty good. If you use too much of it though, like for instance I use it in my lattes, I can use about half a teaspoon. Any more than that and I start to notice a bit of a bitter undertone. So keep that in mind. Swerve doesn't really have that from what I've experienced so far. So stevia and Swerve, those are my sweeteners. And now over here we have our flours. So this is Bob's Red Mill coconut flour. And it's organic. I love Bob's Red Mill. You can get it online, you can get it at stores. It's by far the best price per ounce and it's the most consistent that I've found too. I try to avoid Toll House and any of those others just because I'd rather support something a little smaller, and plus, you know, the price is there too. So coconut flour, it's a lot more dense than regular flour, so if you're looking at a normal recipe, keep that in mind. This stuff is a sponge. It'll soak up all your oil, all of your liquids, so make sure if you're doing a regular recipe, cut it in about half the amount of normal flour versus coconut flour. Use half the amount of coconut flour. Now here I have almond flour. Now this is super fine almond flour, once again, Bob's Red Mill, and I used it in some cookies yesterday and I followed it cup for cup and I noticed that it didn't really have that same tendency to soak up all the liquid like the coconut flour did. Now the reason why I have both is because I wanted to try them both. And I used this for some almond butter cookies and I thought I'd give the coconut flour a break. I use this mainly for brownies and muffins, whereas this worked great for my cookies. It was perfect consistency. And the macros on this. So macros for the almond flour, it's about 2 tablespoons per serving, 80 calories. There are 5 grams of fat, 5 grams of total carbs, 1 gram of fiber. So you're netting 4 carbs per 2 tablespoons. Not too bad considering how much you're going to use and how far it spreads. Now with the coconut flour, the macros are a little bit better. You've got 2 tablespoons serving, it's 60 calories, 1.5 grams of fat, so a little bit lighter on the fat, but there are 9 grams of total carbohydrates. But keep in mind that there's 5 grams of fiber, so you're looking at about the same. So 4 net here compared to 4 net here. It's about the same, and the protein is a little bit less on here. There's 3 grams of protein, 4 grams in the almond. So it's really your own preference. You have to use less of this though. So check that out. This is good if you have a nut allergy, not so good if you do. And then I have a couple others down here that I like to use for my flour base. This is cocoa powder. I generally stick, like I said, with organic, but I shop sales. I don't necessarily shop brands. So, here's Nestle Toll House. I like to use this in all of my brownies. I use it in replacement of the flour that I would normally use, because once you get down to it, it's basically just ground up cocoa beans. And they are perfect. Oh, let's look at the nutrients real quick here. There's 1 serving per tablespoon, 20 calories, 3 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber. Pretty good, 1 net per tablespoon. I don't recommend just eating it like I would with this. It might be a little, but go ahead, try it. Let me know how it works. And here I found this. It's Cocoa Mocha, Nature's Earthly Choice. I don't remember what state I was in when I found this, but I think I got it at Walmart. And basically it's just a grain and coffee flour blend. If we look at the ingredients are kind of out there. It's a lot of protein blend, some sort of sweeteners, and organic coconut nectar. They don't add too much. Actually, there are 0 grams of added sugar, less than 1 gram of sugar. Once again, serving size, 2 tablespoons. There are 70 calories, 1 gram of fat, 5 grams of carbs, and 3 grams of fiber, so 2 net per 2 tablespoons. But if you're looking to reduce the amount of protein that you're eating, this has 11 grams of protein. So really high in the protein, but great if you're looking for a good protein source if you're following a vegan keto diet. And now here, I've got my chia seeds. This is empty, if you'll notice, nothing in there. So these are organic chia seeds. I also have a big bucket of chia. It is great for more than just your chia pets. If you're doing if you're doing keto, but you're vegan, this is a great replacement for your eggs. And I'll tell you why. I grind mine up. You grind up all of your chia seeds, and I found it easier just to keep them dry. You can save them in a Tupperware container or right in your food processor. And what happens is you grind up the little chia seeds, and then you add 3 tablespoons of water per 1 tablespoon of chia, and it makes a pudding. And this is great. All of my baked goods have been holding up perfectly, in all of my muffins and my cookies. And, just do it egg for egg. So 1 tablespoon of chia plus 3 tablespoons of water equals 1 egg. And it has been a lifesaver. There are also other alternatives that are keto friendly to eggs, like tofu if you're not afraid of soy, and a few others like flaxseed. Now I will tell you, there are a significant amount of carbohydrates in this. So 3 tablespoons is 1 serving, that's 3 eggs. So if you're going to spread it amongst your baked goods, it's not too bad. So in 3 tablespoons, you have 150 calories, 10 grams of fat, pretty good there. We also have 13 grams of carbs, but wait, until you shun this product, it's 11 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein. So out of those 13 carbs, 11 of them are fiber, so you're looking at a net of 2 grams of carbohydrate. Now, I think that's pretty good, and if you cut that down into a third, you're looking at about 4 grams total with about 1 net. So pretty good per egg. And like I said, it kind of spreads out. Experiment with it, play with it, and I believe that covers everything on my table here. If there's anything you'd like to see added to my table, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'm always willing to try new things. And I'll make sure to give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Work, Eat, Repeat. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.